my first video of 2026, I wanted to do a little book haul and maybe also talk about some of my reading goals for the year. I'm gonna start off with my book haul. This is including books that I got probably from like October to December. So I've been like, you know, compiling these. I'm not going out every week and buying books. Wish I could, but I cannot afford. So I'm gonna try and go in order that I bought them. So back in the beginning of October, probably, I did a trip to Chapters to buy one book specifically. I initially checked this book out from the library and tried to read it in August, but honestly, pretty much immediately when I started reading it, I was like, oh girl, you're gonna need this for longer than 21 days. So I stopped reading it and I put it on the back burner. I know that I want to come back to it, but now is not the time. The book is House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. Wow. Also, oh, you're joking. Oh my God. That makes me so happy. Because then when you're laying it on a table reading it, bam, girl. Bam, girl. That's staying open. Pan to me trying to read Priory of the Orange Tree right now. I'm like, she's this thick, girl. I'm like, if you don't know what this is, we see this family moving into a new house and doors start appearing that lead to these spaces that seem to be endless. AKA, the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. It's like psychological in that kind of way. That's one aspect of this. And then another aspect is we're reading the papers of a guy that watched tapes that had to do with the phenomenon that was happening in this house. I feel like that's a poor explanation. Focusing on a young family that moves into a small home on Ash Tree Lane where they discover something terribly wrong. Their house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Of course, neither Pulitzer Prize winning photojournalist Will Davidson nor his companion Karen Green was prepared to face the consequences of that impossibility until the day their two little children wandered off and their voices eerily began to return another story of creature darkness, of an ever-growing abyss behind a closet door, and of that unholy growl which soon would tear through their walls and consume all of their dreams. And like, there's all of this stuff. The book is so trippy. Like, there's some pages that are just a couple words. There's some like this. Like, girl, it's gonna take me forever to read whenever I get back to it. But I was very intrigued. I forget how, I think I got like 60 pages in or something. I was really into it. It's just a time-consuming read. So hopefully I'll get back to this at some point. Then on this Chapters trip, I got two 2025 new releases. The first one, Finding Grace by Loretta Rothschild. Honor seems to have everything. She adores her bright and beautiful daughter, Chloe, and her charming, handsome husband, Tom, even if he works 100 hours a week. Yet Honor's longing for another baby threatens to eclipse all of it until a shocking event changes their world forever. Years later, Tom makes a decision that ripples through their lives in ways he could never have foreseen. As the consequences of that fateful choice unfold, two women's paths become irrevocably intertwined. But when old love clashes with new, who will be left standing? And what happens when your secrets come back to haunt you? All I know is what's on the back. And I have heard good things about it, so I'm excited. Then I ended up getting one more book because it was 25% off. Seduction Theory by Emily Adrian. This is only a little tiny, but it sounds so good. And there's something about an affair in here. I like reading about affairs and like obsession. Simone is the star of Edwards University's creative writing department, renowned wolf scholar, grief memoirist, and campus sex icon. Her less glamorous and ostensibly devoted husband, Ethan, is a forgotten novelist and lecturer in the same department. According to Simone and Ethan and everyone else on campus, their marriage is perfect. That is, until Ethan sleeps with the department administrative assistant, Abigail, and the couple's faith in their flawless relationship is rattled. Simone, meanwhile, has secrets of her own. While Ethan's away for the summer, she grows inordinately close with her advisee, graduate student, Roberta Robbie Green. In Robbie, Simone finds a new running partner, confidant, and disciple, or so she believes. Behind Simone's back, Robbie fictionalizes her mentor's marriage in a breathtakingly invasive MFA thesis. Determined to tell her version of the story, Robbie paints a revealing portrait of Simone, Ethan, Abigail, and even herself, scratching at the very surface of what may or may not be the truth. That sounds so good. And like tea, so. Then, a few weeks later, I went back to chapters, because I wanted a sapphic fantasy book. I wanted to try another one. I've tried a few and no, that's not true. I think I've read one sapphic fantasy book, Crier's War, which was YA. I definitely did like it. It was good, but I need to read more. I need to figure out what I like in fantasy. So I was watching one of Jamie's videos and she was talking about the Phoenix Keeper. This is like such a pretty cover. I thought I would give this a try. As head Phoenix Keeper at a world-renowned zoo for magical creatures, Ayla's childhood dream of conserving critically endangered firebirds is closer than ever. When a tragic heist sabotages a neighboring zoo, Ayla must prove she's capable of leading a new conservation program despite the looming threat. But Ayla's biggest challenge isn't wrangling beasts, it's talking to people. So, mustering the courage to ask for help from the hotshot griffin keeper at the zoo's most popular exhibit, virtually impossible. Especially when that hotshot griffin keeper happens to be her arch-rival from college. Luciana, an insufferable know-it-all with the face of a goddess who's convinced that Ayla's beloved phoenix would be better off as a performer than as a passive conservation exhibit. With the world watching and the threat of poachers looming, Ayla's success is no longer merely a matter of keeping her job. The future of a species and her love life now rests on her shoulders. That sounds cute. Okay, next. I went to Value Village because my girlfriend needed a belt for her Halloween costume. And of course we go there, we go to the belt section, and there's nothing. And we're like, oh, damn. And then I'm like, oh, could we just go and like look at the books really quick? Prior to this, I had never looked in the book section of Value Village. I don't know why, but I won't make that mistake again because I bought 5 books at Value Village and the total was $20. This is such a slay haul. I got The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Not even bad quality. Like obviously it's been read, but like I don't care about that. This was $4.99, guys. $4.99. I knew that I wanted to read Kristen Hanna. When I bought this, I had never read anything from her before. I actually just finished The Women by her, and I did really like it, so I'm excited for this one. But this is a historical fiction, as are all Kristen Hanna's books, I believe. This story is about what it was like to be a woman during World War II, when women's stories were all too often forgotten or overlooked. Vianne and Isabel are 2 sisters separated by years and experience, by ideals and passion and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in war-torn France. It is a heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the endurance of women. It's probably gonna hurt, but I'm ready. I love an emotional read, so I'm very excited for this one. Next, I got Lizzie's Story by Stephen King. I just want to read more Stephen King, and I remember I was camping like a few years ago, and the campground was having like a little book sale where they said like pay $1 or $2 and you can get a book. And I saw this there, and I wanted it, but I didn't get it. Don't know why. I wasn't really reading back then that much. Then I was like, I'll buy it and it'll sit on my shelf. But then I regretted it because like I was judging it by its cover, but I mean the synopsis actually does sound good. Lizzie Landon shared a profound and sometimes frightening intimacy with her husband Scott, a celebrated best-selling novelist and a man with many secrets. One was the place where his gifts of imagination came from, a place that could heal or destroy him. Now, 2 years after his death, it's Lizzie's turn to face Scott's demons on a nearly fatal journey into the darkness he inhabited. This sounds interesting. And I just love Stephen King's writing. Like, I just want to read more books. So for $4.99, why not? Next, I actually got this like gorgeous copy of Jane Eyre. It's so pretty. It's in really good condition. $3.99, guys. Yeah, I haven't read it. I haven't read Jane Eyre, but I'm down. The story's heroine, Jane, is a plain-speaking orphan whose determination, good nature, and spirit see her through a series of personal ordeals from an early age. When she takes up a position as governess at Thornfield Hall to teach 8-year-old Adele, she is resigned to an uneventful career. But then the moody, charismatic owner of Thornfield, Edward Rochester, makes a rare visit to the hall, and Jane's impassioned self-respect and moral conviction are tested to breaking point. I just thought this was like so cute. Need to get more classics under my belt. Next, and I actually couldn't believe my luck with finding this, I got Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is also in really good condition. There's a small tear right here, but like whatever. It's so like, I'm like, did you guys even open this? Like, huh? Anyways, I've heard so many good things about this. I feel like reading this, especially now, is gonna be like a little scary. Wait, there's a sticky note in it. Oh, I got excited. I thought I was gonna, the way that I didn't even open this. Well, I didn't see this when I opened it. There's a little sticky note that says what different colors are representing. And then on the first 2 pages, there's highlighted phrases, but that's it. I just flipped through the rest of the book and there's nothing anywhere else. Anyways, this sounds really good. From her place in the store, Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities, watches carefully the behavior of those who come in to browse and of those who pass in the street outside. She remains hopeful a customer will soon choose her, but when the possibility emerges that her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. I think this will be really interesting and really scary, especially with all of our AI things happening right now. I feel like this was a steal. I've wanted to read this for a while, so glad I have it on my shelf now. And the last one that I got at Value Village was The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters. She wrote Fingersmith, which I haven't read, but I've heard it's a good, like, sapphic book. I tried to listen to that one on audio, but I, like, couldn't get into it. I don't know if it was the narrator or what. I saw her name, and I recognized it, and I was like, what is that? Maybe it's a little gay. Let me see. And it might be. I don't know. But it says, it is 1922 and London is tense. Ex-servicemen are disillusioned, the out of work and the hungry are demanding change. And in the south of the city, on genteel Champion Hill, in a hushed Camberwell villa still recovering from the devastating losses of the First World War, life is about to be transformed. Widowed Miss Ray and her daughter Frances, an unmarried woman with an interesting past, now on her way to becoming a spinster, find themselves obliged to take in lodgers. The arrival of Lillian and Leonard Barber, a modern young couple of the emerging middle class, brings unsettling things with it. Gramophone music, colorful clothing, laughter, and fun. Open doors offer Frances glimpses of the newcomers' habits, sounds travel from their rooms to hers, and the staircase and landing have never seemed to her so busy. As she and Lillian are drawn into an unexpected friendship, loyalties begin to shift. Secrets are confessed, dangerous desires admitted. The most ordinary of lives, it seems, can explode into passion and drama. And in the house on Champion Hill, no one can foresee just how far the disturbances will reach. Why do I want to read this right now? Oh my god. I'm excited, guys. Oh my god, that's going to be so good. I'm so happy I got that. Okay, next book. I actually got at a free little library. I was out on a walk with my girlfriend and her friends, and I was like, let me just look, like, and I saw this. They both die at the end, which I've been very interested in. This is like, it doesn't even look like it's been opened. Like, literally, what? On September 5, a little after midnight, Deathcast calls Mateo Torres and Rufus Emeterio to deliver some bad news. They're going to die in less than 24 hours. Matteo and Rufus are total strangers, but for different reasons, they're both looking to make a new friend on their end day. The good news is there's an app for that. It's called Last Friend, and through it, Rufus and Matteo meet up for one final epic adventure, to live a lifetime in a single day. Okay, wait. I didn't realize that's what it was about. I actually don't even know if I read the back of this. I just knew they both die at the end. Oh, that sounds cute. Oh, this is gonna destroy me. And I knew it would, but I've never read from Adam Silvera before, but love a sad book, guys. Next, I did pay for this book, but I got it at a used bookstore here. I was browsing there one day and, hey, couldn't believe my luck. My Friends by Frederick Bachman. $20. This is normally $40. Hardcover. Guys, act cool. It's good condition. I don't know much about this. I know there's a painting and there's a girl who likes the painting and she tries to track down one of the guys in the painting or something, or she accidentally does. I don't know. And I don't really care because Frederick Bachman, I'll read anything that he writes. Saw that this was $20 immediately. I was like, I need it. I don't care. And my last two books are Christmas books. My girlfriend got me Breaking from Frame. This is by Jazz Forrester. If you watched my last video, you know one of my favorite books of last year was Shifting Gears by Jazz Forrester. Sapphic romance. This is her new book that she put out the end of 2025. It sounds so up my alley. A slow burn, vintage lesbian romance about desire, freedom, and daring to embrace your truth. In the spring of 1969, Miss Claire Davis struggles through a discontented life to play the perfect homemaker when beautiful, unmarried Jackie Callis moves in next door. The mysterious and thoroughly modern photographer upends everything Claire thought was normal. Embracing Jackie's friendship while trying to avoid the judgment of gossipy Acacia Circle, Claire finds herself swept down a path of longing and self-discovery that shatters her suburban bubble. But when her secret dreams threaten to become real, will Claire have the strength to choose love over safety? I'm so excited for this. I am so excited for this. I love the but we can't. I hate that was reality, is reality still. In some cases. But in my fun little book, yeah. This is gonna be one of the ones that I read very early into 2026 as well. As is this one. We Could Be Rats by Emily Austen. And it's the UK cover because I wanted specifically the UK cover because pink and yellow and blue, please. And the Naked Heart cover, girl, hot pink. I don't care. I don't even care. That's so friggin' cute. Oh my God. I love Emily Austen so much. So much. My goal is to have read everything that she's written. And this was her new release from last year. And me and my friends did Secret Santa. And Audrey gave me this. Which is funny because I had Audrey last year and I gave her Delilah Green Doesn't Care annotated. And then this year she got me this. Oh my God, I love it so much. This is about two sisters, I think. A moving story about two very different sisters and a love letter to childhood, growing up, and the power of imagination. It's gonna be amazing. Everything Emily Austen writes is amazing. Sigrid hates working at the Dollar Pal. Having always resisted the idea of growing up and the trappings of adulthood, she did not graduate high school, preferring to roam the streets of her small town with her best friend Greta, the only person in the world who ever understood her. Sigrid was never close with her older sister, Margit, who was baffled and frustrated by Sigrid's inability to conform to the expectations of polite society. Sigrid's detachment veils a deeper turmoil and sensitivity. She's haunted by the pains of her past, both distant, like when she pretended her parents were swamp monsters when they shook the floorboards with their violent arguments, and more recent, as she grapples with losing Greta's friendship amid the opioid epidemic ravaging their town. As Margaret sets out to understand Sigrid and the secrets she has hidden, both sisters, in their own time and way, discover that reigniting their shared childhood imagination is the only way forward. What unfolds is an unforgettable story of two sisters finding their way back to each other and a celebration of that transcendent, unshakable bond. Sounds so good. I'm so excited for that one. That is my little book haul from the end of 2025. Gotta stay away from the bookstores in 2026. But also, my bookshelf here is not full, and I want to fill it. So I use that as an excuse to buy books. But I have so many good ones on my bookshelf, unread right now, that I need to read. Hopefully you'll see some of those in reading vlogs or wrap-ups this year. I just got back from the gym, and I wanted to talk to you guys about my DNFs from last year. Okay, sorry. This is really annoying. Pam, our pug, eats out of this, and right now she's like not eating her breakfast, so I'm having to like hand feed her. Oh, she's eating it now. Good golly. Normally she like knocks this around with her head on her own, but she's not doing it right now, so I'm having to shake it out. If you hear crunching, ignore it, because she needs to eat. That's my baby. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about my DNFs from 2025 because I didn't get a chance to talk about them in my wrap-up, so I thought I would talk about them now while I drink my coffee. I had to get this on the way back from the gym because our coffee machine broke yesterday. Yeah, we have a Keurig, and I went to go make a coffee in the morning before work, and grounds exploded everywhere. Like, I don't know if I didn't put the pot in right. Like, I don't know. If you have a Keurig, I feel like you know. Sometimes if it doesn't pop the whole way, like, that can happen. Anyways, so what happened, it was a fucking mess. So I cleaned it all up, and I did end up making 2 coffees after, a coffee for each of us, and it worked fine. And then when I went to go make my coffee for myself that I bring to work for like my first break, it wouldn't turn on. And now the machine literally won't fucking turn on. So we don't have a coffee machine, and I can't go a day without caffeine. So we're gonna go coffee machine shopping tonight. Don't know what we're gonna get. Anyways, so had an excuse to buy one. Oat latte. Okay, so my DNFs don't honestly have very much to say about all these. But the first one was the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. I wanted to give like one of these in this like little series a try because the fucking covers are so cute, and like I feel like they have relatively good ratings. Anyway, so I tried this one, and oh my fucking god. It's like single dad. He's like moving to this small town, I don't know what it's called. And then his love interest is like a waitress at the Pancake House, I think. He was a asshole. I was like, you're just being rude. Girl, stand up. Like, I don't care how hot he is. And I just didn't feel any connection between the two characters because of that, I think. There's a difference between teasing and like being mean. I was like, he does not like you, like, at all. Yeah, and I just was like, how are they gonna form a relationship after this? Anyways, I couldn't get through it, so I DNF'd it like, I feel like I was like 2 chapters in. Next one was a big disappointment. It was Flirting Lessons. Oh, so you'll sit on my lap. Yeah, so next one was Flirting Lessons. This one was a sapphic romance. So I was like, okay, let's go. Anytime any sapphic romance comes out in the year, I'm like, I'm ready. This book, again, I only got a few chapters in. This book starts out, and our 2 main characters are at an event at like a vineyard. Somebody's working behind the bar and somebody is attending the event, from what I remember. I don't remember if one of them like hasn't dated before or just hasn't dated women specifically. But anyways, one of them is like, I'll give you flirting lessons. It was just so much all at once. I was like, they met one day, and then immediately after, they're like going and doing, I don't know, like stranger danger, guys. Along with that, the Insta like it wasn't insta love, I don't think, but like they did not know each other at all, I don't think, before. So again, I was like, this is too much all at once. Along with that, we also had no backgrounds on our characters at all. I'm sure we would have got more like going in, but like right off the bat, it was like, this is this girl and this is this girl, and now they're getting in a car together and going to a book signing or something. It was too like giving insta love. And the last one that I DNF'd was The Sea Witch, which I got on Hoopla and I was listening to it, and it's supposed to be like a reimagining of Ariel where her and Ursula like have a relationship. Ursula's a sexy sea witch and Ariel like and her start, you know, banging. I don't know. So this one was, I was like really excited for it because I love a retelling of like a story that I know, you know, like a fairy tale or like a Disney princess. I was like, that's so cool. But in one of the first chapters, we see that the sea witch, Ursula, she lives in this like castle and she's basically keeping sex slaves. We have this scene at the beginning of the book and it's with this man, and why would a man be there? Like, why would a man be there? I only wanted to read about Ursula and Ariel. That's not their names also, because, you know, trademark. But yeah, I just wanted to read about them being together. I didn't want a man there. So DNF'd it, unfortunately. But honestly, 3 DNFs, and I had read 76 books by the end of the year. That's not a bad ratio at all. I didn't want to force myself through them. Like, if I'm not into a book, I want to be able to stop it. I don't want to feel guilty and be like, no, you have to finish this. Like, okay, girl, why are you going to finish it just to give it a 1 or a 2? I did have a pretty good reading experience overall. Those are my DNFs. I'm going to go shower and then eat lunch, and I'm going to come back. I want to start a book today that I'm buddy reading with Sydney, and I might finish the audiobook that I'm listening to right now. I'm listening to We Used to Live Here, and I only have like 40 minutes left, I think. And I'm actually like really enjoying this one, I feel like. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'm probably gonna finish it today. I'm hoping to. I'll be back. I am fresh out of the shower, and I just finished my audiobook. It was not We Used to Live Here. That's by Marcus Cleaver, and I read that last year in like June or something. Amazing, 5 stars. But the audiobook that I was listening to was We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough, I think. The ending wasn't my favorite, but I still thought it was pretty fun. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5. If you're into haunted houses, that kind of vibe, I think you would like it, probably. Essentially, it's about a young couple who moves into this old house in a small town that's like tucked away into the woods. This move is coming after the FMC Emily wakes up from a coma because she essentially fell off a cliff. When they move in, she starts hearing and seeing things that are really creepy and make her think that the house is haunted. When she starts telling people about this though, they're like, oh babe, that's like the post-coma brain. Like, that's because you had sepsis when you were in your coma and it's the sepsis brain talking. Like, that's not real. And then she's like, oh my God, is it? We're uncovering the mystery of that, and secrets are coming up along the way. Pretty fun. And the audiobook was really well done. There were 2 narrators, a woman and a man, and would recommend the audiobook for sure. So now I'm going to start The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I just checked it out from the library. I'm buddy reading this with my friend Sydney, and I'm super excited. It's by V.E. Schwab. I read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by her last year. Wasn't my favorite, but I had my hopes set really, really high because I was hearing such amazing things, and it sounded so up my alley. Toxic lesbian vampires. That was kind of a disappointment, but I did also really like V.E. Schwab's writing. in Barrier Bones and the Midnight Soil. I really like the multiple timelines and the multiple perspectives. And I think that she's really good at building a strong character that feels really real. Like Maria, I think her name was, in Barrier Bones and the Midnight Soil. I loved reading her initial perspective in like 1530, I think it was. I was so absorbed in her story. So I'm excited to read this. I don't know actually what it's about, so I'm going to read the synopsis. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she is determined to find excitement and satisfaction in the wide, beckoning world, even if she will be doomed to be alone forever. Or not quite alone, as every year on her birthday, the alluring Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she is ready to give up her soul. Their darkly thrilling game stretches through the ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses oceans and tries on various lives. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name. And suddenly, everything changes again. I'm really excited for this. Let's get into it. It's actually the next day now, but I wanted to come back and update you guys on my initial thoughts for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm only 3 chapters in, I think, but it actually is written very similarly to Barrier Bones and the Midnight Soil, in the sense that we start out in 1638, I think, and then the next chapter is 2014, and then the next chapter is like 17 something. So I really like that aspect. I think it's really cool. And that's happening because from the synopsis, we know that Addie made a deal with the devil, essentially. I'm assuming because she wanted to like live forever, I don't know, or was afraid of dying or something. But yeah, so we're jumping like between a bunch of different timelines, and we're seeing her in a more young and naive light, and then now in the 21st century where she is used to this curse that was put on her and how to deal with living with it. I am really liking it, so fingers crossed that keeps going that way, because I really like V.E. Schwab's writing. I feel like this one could be 4 stars or up. The last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video was some goals that I have for 2026, reading goals. And I wanted to talk about some goals that I set for myself last year. I didn't actually set that many goals last year. I had, I feel like, 2 main ones. I wanted to try and read 52 books, because a book per week. And I wanted to try to read a French book. I bought a French book, but I did not read it. So that is a big goal of mine this year. I really want to read my French book that I got. My uncle was a French professor at the university back home, so I asked him for a recommendation of what to read. I wanted something that was more of like a beginner-esque level. I did French from K to 12, but I haven't spoken French or written or read in French in like ages, besides like a couple Duolingo classes. I should tell you what my book is about. So this is what he recommended. It's called Tsubaki by Aki Shimazaki, who is a French-Canadian author, I believe. The author was born in Japan, but has lived in Montreal since 1991. And my uncle said that he reads this with like, he reads books from this author in a lot of his beginner intro university French courses. So I just Googled her and like was just looking through her backlist kind of, and this one sounded interesting to me. So it says that after our main character, Namiko, her mom dies. She was a survivor of the atomic bomb Nagasaki. She has to deliver 2 envelopes. The first is addressed to an uncle on her mother's side that she was ignoring and that she's now in charge of finding. And the second is a letter in the form of a confession to her daughter. She is recounting her life during the war, her first love, and she reveals a secret. It sounds fun. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty easy to read, and it's only 115 pages, little tiny, but the thing with this is that it is going to be a commitment for me because I'm gonna have to sit down with like my phone or my iPad or something because I'm gonna have words that I need to search up. I know it. Like, it's not gonna be... I haven't read French in 8 years probably. So, but I think this is a good goal, and I'm really dedicated to doing it this year. I've got my book, so I just need to lock in. So yeah, that's like my main goal this year, I feel like, as well. I set my reading goal for the year to 52 books again because I did meet that last year and surpass it by like 20 something books. But I'm hoping to get into school this year in September. So if I get in, I won't be reading as much, I'm assuming. Like, I'm not gonna have the time to. So I wanted to set it to 52 just in case. We're praying that I get into school this year, guys. That's basically it. I don't really have any other huge reading goals in mind. I don't want to set too many like rules or expectations because I am somebody that likes to just mood read completely. Like, once I finish a book, I'm like, what am I in the mood for? And that's going to be the definition of mood reading. Anyways, I've never made like a monthly TBR or anything, so I wanted to keep my options open. Yeah, but I'm happy with those 2 goals. Anyways, that's all from me for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.